welcome back to Wendy's Colouring, and this is my finished December pages for 2024, so the end of the month selection. Surprisingly, I did get a few done. This top one is a whip. Only started it the other day, can't lie. This book was in my Books to Touch 2024. I didn't touch it. I've touched it in January this year, 2025. So it's a bit naughty really, but yeah, I'm a bit late recording this, and yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit in this one. So yeah, it's a bit of a cheat really, but I'm putting it in here anyway, just so you can see where I'm up to, and obviously it's going to carry on for 2025 for January. So this is a book I've had a while now. I think I've had it over a year. Yeah, it's a Chinese book. I think I got it from Ali. The ISBN is there if you're looking for it. It translates as Dream Trip, a magical colouring book that takes you into a dream world by someone who I can't pronounce, and I'm not going to try and do it wrong. But yeah, I've been picking it quite a few months this year, and just for one reason and another I haven't got to it. I think because it's quite a big book, and I do struggle with these big square books. It's kind of Joanna Basford sized book, and it's very similar paper, I think, as well. Kind of, it's quite thick paper. I think it's a little bit smoother maybe than her paper, but it's very, very similar. So all I've done, as you can pretty much see, is I've started basing this. So I've based some of the car in just some Tombow dual pens. These are reasonably light colours, but they haven't come through. Even this darker, stronger pink there hasn't come through on this paper, so I'm quite pleased about that. And then I've done this background, and I've still got bits of my rubber all over it in Faber-Castell gelatos. And then I have literally gone in with my electric rubber, which is why there's bits everywhere. It's getting on my nerves because I can see bits of it. Sorry. To take it back off again, off the balloon, the moon, and these little clouds, and these clouds at the bottom. I think I've got still a little bit to lighten down here on some of the clouds. But yeah, I didn't mask it. I think that is one of the reasons I do quite prefer using the gelatos over something like Distress Inks, because these do just literally rub out again with your eraser. So that just means a lot of less faffing about, isn't it? Like, this would look lovely with Distress Inks, but it's a lot more faff trying to, you know, mask some of this off, and then you never know how well that's going to come off as a mask, do you, depending on the paper, if you've not practiced it a few times with all the pages. So I quite like the fact that the gelatos just literally erase, and it's easy. I'm thinking I might put a little bit of white through it, like there's a bit of you know, soft cloud, as well as these kind of feature clouds through the back. Not sure. I'm thinking the card's going to be red, so I've based it in this kind of light pink, so that's going to be my highlight, this colour really. And the same with the purple. This is going to be my highlight, this purple, so it's going to be quite deep red, deep purple, and then I'm thinking kind of like a velvety red inside. I've not done inside where the window is, because I'm thinking I'd quite like to see some of this kind of pastel-y sky reflected in this windscreen, so I need to think about how I was doing that. And I thought if I put that heavy pink in there as well, it's going to be very difficult to do anything with that, isn't it? So I may put a little bit of the pink in to show that it is behind there, but not as heavy as that, I don't think. Not made any decisions what I'm doing about these clouds around the wheel for my, well, I'm thinking it's a flying car. It is now, because in some kind of cloud scene in my page. But yeah, I've not made any decisions about that, and I've not made any decisions about these little teddy bears that are all over it as well. We're going to do kind of gold for all the metal work, as you can see. Undenied about silver, but I quite like doing gold, so gold it was. Yeah, then that's pretty much as far as I've got with it. Obviously, that's going to be carried on with this month. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed it. I do doing a gelato background's nice and relaxing, isn't it? It's pretty simple background, goes quite quickly. I've quite enjoyed layering the different colours, and obviously because it's gelatos, I don't know how well it shows up, but it has quite a nice soft sheen to it as well. And it went on, like I say, really nicely on this paper. I don't buy a huge amount of Chinese books, but yeah, I do quite like the paper quality in this. Some of the pages, and maybe not for me, but I quite like enough of it that, yeah, I think it's a book I want to keep. These are cute, aren't they? Some really, and this is quite nice, like 3 different panels. Is it a train or a carriage? Because we do have carriages repeating in this book, so yeah, I'd like to do a bit more in this book, I think, this year, because there's some cute pages in it. It's just, I know it is the size. Quite like these little fabric balloons as well. I think that's quite nice. Some of the characters are a bit strange looking, but yeah, you can change them as you're working on them to be a bit cuter, like him. I think he's quite cute. So yeah, my dream trip book, Chinese dream, can't even say it now, dream trip book, down there on the floor. Then this one I did reasonably early on in the month. This was an uncoloured book for me, Winter Magic by Chinso. I nearly forgot then. Unbelievable. It's quite an interesting book. It's not an easy book to get hold of, so if you see it, I would grab it. It's basically a half and half book, so you have half that literally comes out. It has its own separate binding. It's stuck together in this kind of wallet feel to begin with. I'm not sure whether they're supposed to come out, but as you can see, they are 2 separate books. You get one that's like an instruction book that gives you some ideas for colouring it, and then the other one is a watercolour papered book, and I worked on this one as part of my mailing demo video. So yeah, if you want to see me actually doing this with the paint, that's the video it's in. It's in my mailing ones. They very nicely sent me this set of watercolours. They are lovely watercolours, really pigmented watercolours. I don't know about background for this, but I think because I painted it all in, I kind of didn't want to risk ruining it. Used a little bit of the metallic that's in there as well. The metallics come out quite nicely. Just wanted a little bit of sparkle, as obviously it's kind of Christmassy page. Thought that'd be quite nice. Maybe if I had a bit more patience and time, I might have metallic the whole background, I don't know. Or maybe I should have metallic the whole background before I started. Or put a wash on the whole background before I started. Any of those things might have made sense, but I didn't. I just painted in my individual little pieces. But yeah, I quite enjoyed working on it. It's a fun little page. This book has lots of little fun. It's very difficult to flip because the paper is thick. Some are a little bit more involved. Towards the back they're a bit more involved, and as it gets towards the front it gets a bit more simple. It's going to just all flip like that. It's kind of got like a kitschy Christmas vibe to it really, and his demo book is very kitschy the way it's done. But yeah, it's quite a cute little book. Paper is amazing in it, really thick paper. If it's not a book you've seen, like I say, it's quite rare to find it now. I've had it, I think this is the 2nd Christmas with it, maybe the 3rd, not sure. I've had it a while. I think I did get it from Book Depository before they finally went. But yeah, it's a cute little book. I do like it. Winter Magic by Chunzo. The ISBN, if you want to try and find it, is there. Grab it if you find it. It's a lovely book. Great little Christmas book. Then some of my little cute and cozy books. This one is Colouring Book Cafe Christmas Hugie. I think this is my first page in here, or is it my second? Oh no, it's my second page in here. So I'm pretty much doing the same in most of these books at the moment. I'm quite enjoying them. They're easy pick up and put down, aren't they? And I'm tending to do the marker work up here in my kind of art craft room, and then I just take a set of pencils downstairs so you can kind of watch a bit of Christmas telly while I'm working on it. So I've been doing that really with them, which these are working quite nicely because they're only small. They fit on my little lap desk that I've got downstairs. So yeah, that makes colouring a bit more social for me. So I've quite enjoyed that a little bit. This has a base of my Ohuhus and my Copics, depending what colours I wanted, and pretty much that is what I've done with the markers. The Snow does have a marker base on it. I know it's quite soft. I think those were my Copics because I don't have a whole selection. Oh no, I did use some of the Ohuhus. I'm telling lies. I think I used the very lightest Copic with my other two Ohuhus. That's what I did. But yeah, as you can see, I put a fair amount of marker on, and then I've worked over. This one's been worked over with Prismacolor. Not a huge amount. I tried to do quite a bit with the markers, but obviously wood texture, the shading into some of this decoration, working on his hat, a little bit more into the wood. Pretty much most things have a little bit of coloured pencil shading on. I do prefer layering the shading over the top. I prefer that more finished look. I did and ah about putting some patterns on the tablecloth and maybe onto the wall, but I kind of just liked it as it was, and I kind of wanted that to be the main kind of, as you're looking at it's where you look, isn't it, rather than getting a bit confused with patterns and bits and pieces. So I kind of just no, I'll leave it as it is. I quite like it as it is. And then just a bit of acrylic marker just to remove the lines. But yeah, I quite like this book. The line work's not too thick. I know a lot of you like it thicker because you're just using your markers, and obviously it helps stop a bit of bleeding. I did get a bit of bleeding around the hat, but I've just gone back over with my acrylic markers. It doesn't really bother me so much. I'd rather have it's easier to get rid of the lines than having really chunky lines. So I think this is the second one out of this book that I've done. So I've done that one, this over the 2024, and this one, and then obviously it's got to go away now because it's a Christmas book. But I do like this book. I'd quite happily have done some more in. I suppose it's going to get a bit samey, but yeah, I like this Colouring Cafe one. It's cute, the lines are thin, you get these little reminder things that I kind of thought, oh, you could put a picture of that in your journal or something, these little ones. I've not, because I've not got myself organised enough, but Christmas Hygge by Colouring Book Cafe. Another one along the same lines, so Fuzzy Hygge by Vivi Tinta. Is this my first or my second in this? I can't even remember. But I've done this one this month. Oh, I think it's my first in this one. I don't think I'd worked in this one before. I think I might have based it in November, but I didn't get it finished. I think it was one of those. So yeah, as usual, I've based in I think this was mainly Ohuhus on this one, so you can kind of see what I've marked in. And then I've worked over this one in Prismacolor as well. And then obviously quite a bit of marker, and I've got a horrible mistake that will probably not be able to get off, but I will try and get a little bit of it off because that's annoying. That's the downside of colouring downstairs on the couch, because you can't see quite as well, can you? It's the lighting not quite as good in the lounge as it is here on my desk. Yeah, I quite like it. There's maybe a bit too much floor for me and a bit too much background. I definitely should have done something with the wallpaper. I don't know, I just couldn't make myself do it. And I kind of did plan to do a bit of pattern work on the little blanket, but I didn't. I quite like it. I don't know, it needed something more, I think. But I'd had enough of it, so that's where I stopped. Not sure whether I'll do one out of this next month. I suppose there's a lot of different things in it, isn't there? I need a proper look through, but my first one out of this one by Vivi Tinta. And then another one, again, I think this one I had based in November, but I ran out of time to actually colour it. So this one's the autumn one by Colouring Book Cafe. And I did the second one in this one, which again, yeah, I did because I remember showing it. So I had based this at the end of last month. I've done that much with the markers, just so you can see. So I didn't do the books. I didn't do some sections of the little rabbit. I didn't do the bunting. Everything else I've got a base colour on. But I didn't do much shading with it, but I did want these like little bookshelf nooks to really kind of have a bit of heavy shadow on. And I've worked quite a bit with the markers and then the pencils and then a bit of acrylic paint in the window scene to get that kind of, well, that was basically what we were having as I started this page. So this is the same as usual. I think this was mainly a hoo-hoos, but this is Don't Chroma Flows over the top. I think I am getting a bit more pencil kind of paper texture with the Chroma Flows compared to the Prismacolors. They are a bit smoother laid down on these papers that all these books are printed in. I'm not sure. I do prefer it a little bit smoother. I don't love seeing a lot of the texture, but it depends on what you're doing, doesn't it? Sometimes a bit of texture can be beneficial. The wood, I think, works better with a little bit of texture because it is a textured surface. So I don't know. A little bit of A, a little bit of B, but they both work quite well in these books. I've used my Chroma Flows a lot this year, so I've tended to just use them raw on their own without a base on, but they do work quite well like this over the top of a base, and obviously I've added in the little pendants on the top. Quite like this one. He's quite cute, isn't he, the little bunny? And I quite like the cosy feel of it without it being in too kind of seasonal. Like this could have been summer, could have been winter, could have been autumn. It could have been any month. I've done the little leaves as though they're autumn because I started it in autumn, but it could have been any time of the year, couldn't it? I quite like it. It's okay. It was fun to do, and that's all that matters, isn't it, really? But I think this is my second one out of this book, possibly. Obviously, it is an autumn book, so... Oh, yeah, I did the little Halloween stack last time. It is a Halloween book, so really I should put it away. I don't know, I might have a look through and see if there's any that look kind of winter looking in it. I like that could be any time, couldn't it? I suppose there's some leaves still on, so maybe not. Don't know, we'll see. But yeah, Autumn by Colouring Book Cafe. Then a new a new book into me over November was this one, Orchard Full of Fairies by Clara Markova, that I have got pencil on already. One page, already got pencil on it. I didn't do the pages I picked from my colouring plans. I went for this page, which is a double page, but I thought I'm going to actually, in fact, I'm going to leave that back in there because I know what I've used, but I won't remember by the time I come back to this. Yeah, I don't know. I just fancied this page more than the ones I'd selected, so I think I'd picked out this one, but I'm not loving this weird bat thing. He wasn't giving me Christmas vibes. I think I'd picked this one, but I thought there's a lot of soil and I just wasn't feeling the soil. I wanted kind of warmer, cosy vibes. This one I very nearly did with the little chess pieces, but yeah, in the end I went for this one. This is in Holbein's. I quite like my Holbeins on Clara's paper. This paper I think is a little bit smoother and a little bit thinner than some of her other books. It's still beautiful paper, but it doesn't suit all pencils, I don't think. But I quite like my Holbeins on it. Just do need to layer quite a few layers to get the kind of finish that I want. Otherwise, again, you're kind of left seeing quite a bit of paper through it. But yeah, I quite like it. I did spill some of my acrylic pen dripped somewhere here, and I was working on this bell and I didn't notice. And then when I tried to get it off, it has given him a bit of a yellow cast, but I'm like, yeah, it's like the light's hitting him. We'll live with it. So he's a little bit yellower than perhaps I had planned. But yeah, I quite like it. The little kind of cake and sweets. Got a little tree, gingerbread people. I did this as orange. I didn't know whether it should be orange or lemon. I've kind of gone orange because it has a bit more of a Christmassy feel to it. Orange, doesn't it? Or clementine, I don't know. I went that way, and then I did a little bit of the globe, tried to get a little bit of the colours from the building through a little bit. Could maybe do with a little bit more of a highlight on the front of the glass, which I've forgotten to do because, again, I took it downstairs to colour, so I didn't have my white pen down there, which I should have done, because I have done the top but forgotten about the glass. Don't. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed it, and it's first page done in this book. I don't think it's quite as complicated as some of her later books, more recent ones. There's some interesting pages, a few quite different designs in this one. Yeah, I quite like it. I just wasn't loving the Christmas pages, I think. I think some of these earlier ones are a bit more interesting. Like, there's quite a nice dragon, isn't there? I quite like this one. What's going on this side? Horse or unicorn? Unicorn. So, yeah, maybe it'll pop back next month. I'm not sure. See how I feel about it. I quite like the whale as well. And these are quite nice with the jellyfish. I can kind of see a few things on that pages. But my first one in Orchard Full of Fairies by Clara Markova. Then I did get this one. I've done a lot of Gabby Wolf this year. Pretty much most months. From about summer, I think I've worked on Gabby Wolf. So I did get this Christmas one, and I'm kind of a little bit in regret with it, really. It's cute, but I suppose easy should have been the giveaway, shouldn't it? It's a little bit thick lines for me, personally. So, yeah, I'm not as pleased with it as I was hoping to be. But I have done this one this month. Yeah, I'm pleased with it now. I think that's where I am. But it does feel much more simple to me. But I quite like how it's come together. It's worked in the end, but it does take quite a bit of effort getting rid of the lines on this page. So that is what I've based in the markers. So not a huge amount of tonal work. Did a little bit in the trees. But pretty much everything else was reasonably flat colour. I've done the rest with Prismacolor over the top and done all the wood texture in Prismacolor. Added the shading on all the hats and clothes and presents and the little rabbits. Oh yeah, and I did the little grids for the flooring. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it kind of works, doesn't it? I was kind of going off the colour scheme from the one at the front. I was umming and ahhing about doing these spots and lines, and they've got like little collars on hers, but I didn't do that. I thought, once I'd shaded them like this, I thought, actually, I don't mind them as they are, and I think if I go too far, it's going to look a bit of a mess, so I didn't trust myself to do that. But I did do the tiles over the top with the pencil, which I wasn't so sure about. It has got a bit of metallic here and there. I think the little fringe on the rug, the pins are in metallic. I did some of the stitch work in metallic. Is there anything else? I don't know how well it's showing up in today's light. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit, which bits are metallic. Those were my Super Golden markers by Lightwish. Still my favourite pen, still on the same set of them. The gold is on the way out. I've used the gold so much. But yeah, it's just easy, it works, there's no faffing about with it. And I really like the shine that they give. They are some of my favourite metallic pens, I think. And I think that's pretty much it. I've used acrylic markers and obviously the Super Golden markers. So yeah, my first page in here, I don't know if I'll work in this. There are some cute pages like that I won't do. That I quite like. I can see it could be cute. Just the thick lines does put me off a little bit. I should have read the description a bit more. It's my own fault entirely. But yeah, some of it's a bit too simple for me, I think. But I'll probably just do the ones I like out of it. But Gabby Wolf's new Christmas Cute and Easy colouring book. Amazon paper, obviously. And then my last Amazon book for the month was Gummy and Pecky. This is quite a favourite book by Vivi Tinta. I've done another one in this book. I did this one, and it kind of relates very similar back to that one that I've just had. I think this is too bigger characters for me. I like it now it's finished, but at some points in it I was like, these tiles are very big and they're a bit boring. I probably should have put a bit of pattern in them. But I got to the point where I just wanted it done. I think this book, I need to pick pages where there's a bit more going on for me. I like it now it's done. And I quite like the burr. I spent quite a bit of time working on the burr, layering a few different colours up. This is a Hoo-Hoos and my Copics as per usual. That is how much I based in it. So not a huge amount. Most of this, I did put a little bit of two-tone in the burr and in Pecky. But most of it I've done with the pencils. This is Chroma Flows, different Chroma Flows over the top, and I didn't mind so much of the texture on this one, but I have used a white to kind of flatten some of the texture in the tile a little bit, because obviously I didn't really want texture there. But yeah, they've worked quite nicely, and obviously on the burr and the fabrics and things like that, I like the Derwent on. Just wish they sat a little bit flatter on some of these Amazon papers, but yeah, it is what it is. I quite like it in the end. I think this is my second page in here. Yeah, I did that one in this one the month before, and I've done that one this month. Gummy Pecky will probably return. I just have to have a look and see what I fancy doing. Definitely not one that's quite so big. I think that is definitely... I didn't enjoy the size of it so much, and I think that I stupidly picked what is pretty much the largest image in the book, really, compared to all the rest. I don't know why I picked it, because all the rest are not like that, are they? So, what an idiot. Anyway, Gummy Pecky from Vivi Tinta. And then my last one, again, there's a video with me starting this. Was in Hannah Carlson's new Christmas book. I know this has been a bit tricky to get hold of lately, but I have done this page in it. So in my Artex watercolour pencil video, I did start doing this with these ones. So the new Artex watercolours pencils. I think, if I'm honest, I think they prefer something with a bit more texture than this paper. They were lovely in the watercolour book that they sent me, and I've tried them in a few other different books, and they're really nice. But this is quite super smooth, this new book of Hannah's. I think it's maybe a bit too smooth for these. But as you can see, this worked really well on it. I've just had to work them a little bit more on this paper. So the cup and the saucer I did... in the pencils and then wet over the top. I can't remember whether I used them just dry on the leaves. You might have to look back at the video because I don't remember. I definitely wet the colours on the cup. I can't remember whether I wet them on the leaves or not. All the rest is those pencils, but pretty much dry, just layered quite a bit. And like I say, I'm quite pleased with it. I ummed and ahed about wetting this yellow and bleeding it out a bit, but I was kind of happy with where it was, that it felt like there was enough, so I didn't do that. It's got acrylic markers on it as per usual, just for the line work, and I have used my super golden markers again just for some of the little details here and there that I wanted a little bit of a metallic shine on it, just to finish off my fancy hot chocolatey cup of goodness. This obviously is a lovely book of Hannah's. I'm thinking I might still work in this in January, because there's quite a few pages that just feel wintry. Like that could be just wintry, couldn't it? It doesn't have to be Christmas. It's not particularly Christmas inspired. The angel, I'm thinking I could work. They're under mistletoe, so that's a bit tricky. There are a few pages that I'm still thinking I might work, like the candle. Could work the candle, couldn't I? There's nothing Christmassy on that. So there are a few more pages that I might do over the winter. Obviously, I can't do the Christmas market. I'd love to do that, but I'm going to struggle to do that because Christmas, a double page, is a bit of an ask. I might have to wait till I've retired and have nothing else to do. That would be nice. But yeah, I've enjoyed working in it. Hannah Carlson's new Christmas book. I'm not sure whether these are back in stock on iMusic or not. I've not checked recently. I know they did go out of stock for a while. Hopefully there'll be a reprint soon. But yeah, lovely book. And that is pretty much it for my December colouring. Quite enjoyed them. I am enjoying my marker colouring at the moment. it's just speeding up my process a little bit, and I can be quite slow colourer, so it's quite nice to get a bit more time back personally and just get through the pages a little bit quicker. So I'm probably going to continue to do a bit of marker colouring, but maybe not in the Amazon books, maybe some other bits and pieces, just to get a range of things coming through. But yeah, hopefully there's something you've enjoyed watching. I'm hoping you're having a fantastic holiday season and new year and everything's going well with you. I shall see you on the next one. Hope you've enjoyed seeing them all. Bye bye.